5, 49-4, 9-3. This has a clear arch in it, toe angle, and a heel. Very characteristic of tracks made in mud. This 49-2, it's just a ball of the foot impression of a left foot. Then there's a right foot here, which is a crumbling impression, 49-1. Then there's 49, sliding impression, 50, it has a ball of a foot. This is the one of the most distinctive, 51, sliding downhill with toe-like impressions with a mud splash in front of it. 52, which is a right foot. 53, with a clear heel. Trackway is beginning to fade away here. There is a depression right here. It's hard to see though in this angle of the sun. That's his 53-1. There's another clearer depression here, which is 53-2. And from there on it fades out into unrecognizable.
Jeremy Alderney is going to pretend that he is the person who is making these footprints here and is going to give us a demonstration there of how the trail was made in the soft mud at one time. Okay, Jeremy, go right ahead.
There's an impression here that we haven't recorded. 49-4, 49-3, 49 ball of foot, 49-2, 49-1, sliding a little bit, 49, 50, sliding downhill, 52, catching himself, splattering a little mud, 52, 53, 53-1, and 53-2, and maybe a possible out here, and maybe another one, maybe. Here's a reenactment of how this might have occurred.
He's doing it at the possible initial speed of the individual. We are looking at here is a dinosaur track in our square number 6, just a bit east of our downhill trail. And what we are looking at here now is another dino track. We'll zoom in on that one. And if you'll follow the tape measure, you'll see there's the nearest human track. That's only 44 inches away. Go back there again. Here's our dino friend. You follow the tape, only 44 inches to the human track. There it is there. And then, of course, we have not only the right foot there, but a little further on, we come upon the left foot there. We'll zero in on that one. You can just see a little bit of the toe is just a little faint impression of the toes are visible. We'll take a closer up shot of that in just a moment. Follow the same sequence again. Here's a dino track partially covered over on the right here, right edge by a little flow of mud. And then here's another dino. You can see very clearly the 3 claws marks. And then as we follow the ruler, we come upon the first human track. Get a little closer to that. We fill these tracks with a little water to make everything a little more apparent here. And then a little further on, we come to the left foot here. We'll zoom in on that now. You can see a very distinct arch there, and again the toes, just remnants of the tips of the toes there. And of course, a slide to the right, it appears as the person dredges up or bulldozes up a bit of mud here in this sea of mud, which we're calling our Site 2 here. So this is part of Section 5, or Study Area 5 of Site 2. Zeroing in on a further to the south here, we have our famous child skid track, and we're going to show that to you now. We're going to reenact a trail here, and the scenario could possibly be a mother and a child struggling uphill in the mud. And what you see in front of you here is perhaps the mother, and her tracks are in parallel here. But as we're going to see as she progresses forward, the mud becomes softer, and it becomes increasingly difficult for her to progress. We have another track up this direction. We're going to take a look at that now. Further uphill, and we didn't put a number on this particular track here. It seems to be the forward part of a foot skidding. And then further on, with perhaps 2 tracks missing, he rode it away. You come upon this one, still going a little bit uphill. But then following this is a very interesting scenario which we're going to describe now. That here appears to be the left foot of a child going uphill to the south. And you can see there's a skid. The left foot skids off to the left a little bit and then turns to the right. And then the child falls down on his right knee. His right knee makes that impression there at 32. And over here at where the number 3 is, which is already our footprint or print number 33, the child's hand makes an impression in the mud as he attempts to catch his balance. We're going to ask our team member, Danny Argenio, whose foot is a little bit larger than this foot, to demonstrate what we think may be the scenario of what happened here. Here's Danny coming up, and he slips. His left foot skids. His right knee makes an impression. His left hand makes an impression, and his right hand has made the impression where our track 33 is. And interestingly enough, the back of the hand, the ball of the hand, is right in shadow of Danny's head right now. Lift your right hand up, Dan. You can see there. We'll zero in on that. Seems to be a very clear back of a hand. Let me get a little closer on that. Okay, Dan, put the back of your hand back in there again. That's it. And your hand fits in there real nice, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The bottom part.
I
Okay.
can feel finger marks too.
Do you see finger marks there?
I can feel them
You can feel them?
right there.
Really? Okay, well, that's very interesting. Okay, thanks a lot, Dan. You made a good actor. In addition to the child skidding here, it's quite possible that the child was with an adult, Mama or Papa, and that Mama or Papa came up here and put their foot like this uphill, or was walking uphill, but then slipped, went down, caught themselves. Because over here, just to the left a little bit, we have another footprint. Whether that's Papa or Mom or someone else's is an interesting question, but it's not that far away. So we have a relationship here of an adult sliding in the mud, and the dear poor little child also tripping and coming down on all fours, which makes for a pitiful sight when you think of the great tragedy involved. These were people who had invoked the wrath of God because of their sin. And we human beings are no better today than they were at that time. In the days of Noah, we understand a little better what God means by grace in Jesus Christ. For we all deserve to be wiped out, as these people evidently were, in mud and ashfall. And yet, because Christ died on the cross, we have forgiveness of sins which we do not deserve. Wonderful thing, that grace and mercy of God. In view of the evidence of death here in this sea of mud at Site 2 at Tuba